What up, guys? Welcome to the New American Dream podcast. I'm your host, George Gibson. All right, this is the first show I recorded for the 2021 year. It sounds weird saying that, but yes, 2021, the first episode I recorded, and what a great guest. And it's a perfect way to start a new year because this is just showing you that regular old people can be successful and make it and live the life they desire. But before I get into the show, I just want to talk about, for 2021, I want everybody to go a little harder than what we went last year. Run that extra mile, do the extra push-up, because the main thing is we're this close to getting up out of that, pandemic we just experienced, and just life getting a lot better. So, 2021, this podcast is called The New American Dream. I want you to, everybody, you have an ideal lifestyle that you imagine, a perfect life that you could never afford to live. All right, think about what the best life you could imagine. And this is what I did. I envisioned myself at 30 years old, taking my son to a basketball game, basketball practice, going on field trips, me dropping them off in a big old truck, leaving, going to play some basketball, fishing, or just driving to Lowe's and getting the wrong thing and checking out. All those things I imagine myself doing, right? While I had a 9 to 5. My 9 to 5 was 9 to 5, 9 to 7, 9 to 8, Monday through Sunday. That's the hours I was working at the post office. And I had this envision. So I was like, what would I have to do to live that life that I imagined being a perfect life, where I'm not pressed to get anywhere so fast all the time? And I wrote that down, and I went down the wrong way. I bought a house, and everybody knows the spill. I was basically living from not paycheck to paycheck, but I had to keep working in order to pay my bills. So I rewound the yo-yo. I wound it up. I said, okay, if I buy a multifamily house and live in one unit and rent out the other part, that would eliminate my housing. Boom. If I get rid of this car, pay off this car, that'll eliminate my car expense. That's my main thing, right? Boom, that's 2 big checkoffs. So I literally live now for free by just house hacking, living in one unit, renting out another unit out. And and I can choose to or not choose to rent it out. But the whole thing, what I'm saying is I envision my life where I'm not pressed for time. Look at this. You can see my background. This is the room I grew up in right here. Check it out. It's still the same. Bed, window, TV, and I worked at Blockbuster, and I used to always get the things, like the little forms to be, what I'm saying. But I had a whole bunch of them around the room. But yes, I can do what I'm so happy doing what I do now because I have freedom and time. I'm not pressed for it. So the couple come on today, they are just regular middle-class folks who became successful in real estate. They understood what it took to do it, put in the time, put in the hours, and they're not worried about what people think of them. They're doing what they really enjoy to do and love to do and living life on their pace, on their beat. And they're having a great life because guess what? It's stress-free when you can listen and you're not in such a moving so fast. Today's Sunday. It's a rest day, and a lot of people still got to work today. When are you going to be able to listen to the earth, listen to the plants, listen to the birds? Because that's what tells us what to do. It's like our sixth sense. But yeah, we finna get into this episode. I want you to sit back, relax. New American Dream podcast. We have a great guest. Welcome to the show. We have Aamir and Anam. Here we go. Let's go. All righty. Welcome to the show. We have Anam and Aamir.
Hi. Hey, how's it going?
Hey there. It's the first episode of the year, so started off right.
Yay.
All right. So let the guys know a little bit about what do you guys do and who you are.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're a husband and wife duo that does real estate investing on our, you can say, nights and weekends. We both work full-time jobs during the day. So we do this, ultimately we're doing it all the time, but we still work W-2, or I work at W-2. He runs a family business, and we started about 3.5, a little bit, almost 4 years ago, bought our first property. And then ever since then, we fell in love with real estate investing. We like the fact that it's essentially passive without really being passive, right?
Somewhat passive.
But we like the idea of putting our money to work versus just sitting in a an account's not doing anything for us.
Okay, yeah, that was the first thing I read about you guys. You both still work full time, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody, the new thing is like start investing so you can quit working. But I guess today they'll learn the benefit of still working while doing real estate.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's something you need to do because with real estate investing, like the money comes in a little bit slow in the beginning, but and especially that if you rely on the real estate to run your like day to day or like your living and your food and your car and all that stuff, you're not really going to grow. If you have your job to fund your day to day and then you have real estate, you can grow pretty quickly.
Yes, I think that's like a people don't really talk about that, but if you're investing in real estate and that cash flow you're making, you don't need it to live. That's what enables you to grow to one day not have to work. So, all right, let's go back to the beginning. Tell us, like, how did you guys grow up? Where did you grow up at?
I was born in California, so I lived in LA until like I was like 10 or 11, and then my family kind of like looked around for different places to move to because LA was just so expensive. It was not like a place that we could afford a house or anything because they were also working regular jobs. So they had looked into like Atlanta, Chicago, a bunch of places, and then we somehow came across Dallas, and that's when we moved over when I was like roughly around 11.
Okay.
And then
what about you?
I'm born and raised in Dallas, Texas. So I've been here my entire life. I love it. I love that we chose to invest in this market. It's home. So, and we understand it like the back of our hand.
Yep.
But as a childhood growing up, what would you say, like your parents' occupation, and were you like middle class, poor, or rich? How was you growing up?
Pretty low end.
Yeah.
I mean, like we'd be like, if we wanted to do some things, we'd walk there. It's not like we have like multiple cars or anything. We had one car for the whole house, and then we lived in. We grew up I grew up in a 1-bedroom apartment with me, my sister, and my parents, and then we eventually went into a 2-bedroom, which was a nice upgrade. And then most of our life we would live in a small apartment. They worked regular jobs. My dad would actually be working like 16 to 18-hour days. So he would do his first job, and then he would come home, grab something to eat, and then go to a second job. My mom would work most of the day, and then she would walk home, and then we usually take the bus home or something like that. And then she'd be with us until we go to sleep. And then my dad we barely see because he'd be at work most of the time.
Did you think your dad being at work like that influenced you to want to invest in real estate so that you can be around your family more, or I
think it was two-pronged. Like it was seeing the work, like put a lot of work ethic into us that like, hey, this is not unnormal to be working 15, 16 hours a day. If you really wanted to achieve like great success, it's not unnormal to be doing that. So I think that put great work ethic in us. And then, second of all, to be around family more, that we wanted to do something that would, like we would be more available with our family if we chose to do real estate.
Okay. And what about you, Anam?
So it's kind of to his point. So both of our parents migrated to the U.S. My parents moved here in their late teens, early 20s, and his parents same thing in the 20s. So that was obviously something that affected the jobs our parents had growing up, and then how they transitioned into when we came along. So for us, or for me, I grew up when I was around. Prior to that, my parents worked. Like my dad was my dad's first job was a busboy at a restaurant, and my mom worked at a grocery store. But that's because they all migrated here, so those were kind of jobs you got. So my parents and my older brother were born in Chicago. Similar concept. Chicago wasn't where they were going to end up making their full life because it was expensive and cost of living is a little higher than maybe something like Dallas. So when they moved to Dallas, they bought a business. And so growing up in a business-like environment, you had days that were great, and then you had days that were not. And our parents, or my parents and even his parents, worked all the time. So I think that has a lot to do with the work ethic both of us have, which is why we also don't mind putting in 12 to 16 to 18-hour days, depending on what the day looks like. So I think by no means were either of us at all we were not handed anything in our lives. We didn't grow up in a high income family necessarily. Our parents had businesses at some point in their lives that all went up and down all the time. So at some point you would learn to live without, and at some point it worked for you and you were able to maybe go to dinner with your family and stuff like that. So a lot of our early childhood learnings like that really did instill who we both are now.
Right. And that's what I always try to get back to, because a lot of things we see as a child, we don't realize how it affects us as we get older. So definitely seeing your parents have a business go up and down, it's like you see it can be this good, but also it can be stressful, I guess, on both sides of the coin.
I think 2009 was a great learning experience for all of us, because at that point, both of our families were in businesses, and we took such a major hit that all of us had to go like full time. We had to let a lot of staff go. And then we just learned how to like live on like very, very like the necessities, basically just to get by. And even then we were like we were barely not only was the business down so much that we weren't even making anything, but we had stuff to get paid. Like we had payroll to make, and we had loans to get paid and things like that. So it was a pretty bad time, but I think we both learned so much from that time period.
Okay. Are you talking about your parents' business in 2009 or your real estate business?
We're talking about our parents' business. That's what we grew up. We both grew up into that too.
Okay. And what are your ages now?
I am 28.
And I'm 29.
Yes.
Okay. Because at first I was like, no, you were investing in 2009, were you?
No, yeah.
No, but you know, to that point, both of us started working very early in age. I think my like first real summer of working was when I was 12, and it was at my mom's deli. And every summer kids would be at home, sleeping until 12, having a bowl of cereal, watching cartoons. And I was up at 7 going to the deli with my mom and working the register, stocking the shelves. I mean, a lot of that is really what makes us who we are today. He was doing the same thing. He was going to the cleaners with his family. I mean, you had to do what you had to do. And it taught us the value of money at a very early age. When you work all summer long and make $200 a month or something, it's not.
She would actually get paid. I wouldn't even get paid. My parents were like, you live under my roof, you're not going to get paid.
Yeah, that's crazy. I used to get paid, like, my dad had a bar. We get like $25 on Saturdays. Yeah. And I hated going to work. Oh my, on a Saturday morning, like I want to go play basketball or something. You got to go clean up a stinking bar. Yeah. That's crazy. Okay, so what about school? Were you guys like, all right, if you're this successful, you had to be straight A students, right?
So we're complete opposites when it came to school.
Yeah.
I was the kid that sat in the front of class, but I was also probably not the smartest kid in the class. I actually really had to study and memorize a lot of stuff in order to do really well in school, but I believed in doing well in school. I also chose to go to the path of college. I went to college as well. And then he had a different path and kind of a little different take. And
I would be the kid that would go to the back of the class and go sit down over there, put my hoodie up, go to sleep. And then
oh man,
wake up as soon as class was over. Like school was not my thing. I dreaded it. Like I would just be counting down the hours until like I was out of there. And I did college for probably about a year or a year and a half or so until I left that. It was kind of around the 2009 time, like I was saying. That's when like my parents really, really needed help in the business. So I went full time into that. It kind of left from college. And then I went full time into that until about 2017. 2017 is when we got started in real estate.
mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, let's jump into it. Everybody want to know about the real estate. So let's tell us, like, did you have a mind shift? Like, what made you guys want to go? Like, were you working a job and you like, let's go invest in real estate? How was it?
Well, it kind of has to do with a little bit of what we just chatted about. I think obviously at that point we were in our mid 20s, and we were like, what do we want to do for ourselves? We have the opportunity to take over his family business, but that was not something necessarily we were interested in. It was, we wanted to build something for ourselves, something that maybe at some point when children do come into the play, it is a little bit more passive. So we're not working 16, 18-hour days like our parents did growing up. So, and it was something that we knew we can do from anywhere, essentially, if we needed to. If we ever want to take a week off, we can do it, because while you sleep, you make money in real estate. So like there was a lot of positives to going the real estate route versus doing another like business. we're not techie, so it's not like we can like do a startup of any kind. It was just purely what made sense for us that was not going to make us be stuck in a physical location for long hours at a time.
Right. And I think that's the benefit. Like real estate, like you said, make sleep. Don't trick people when they say you make money while you're sleeping in real estate. Because it sounds so good, right? But I like the phone be ringing. Tenant. All right, but yeah, the real estate is definitely the most passive way I ever probably made money in my entire life, because other than that, you have to be somewhere or doing something. It's hard to explain. But did you all right, I know I had a moment, but did you have a moment in real estate where you realized like this is it? Like was it after you bought your first rental or after you collect your first rent check? Like the moment where it hit?
I think it was 2 times. It was after the first time we collected the rent check. That was when, like, you know, you just get the, oh, this is a cool thing, like a cool moment, you know? And then after we made it past our 4th rehab, which literally almost killed us, like we were going to completely stop because it got us to like a pain point because it was so bad. It took so much time, so much money, and almost everything you could think of went wrong in that project. And if we didn't make it past that, I mean, after we made it past that, we were like, okay, look, we'll succeed in this business. If we can get past this, we're definitely going to go through it.
Right. And I think you have to hit a point. You have to hit a point where you, I ain't gonna say failing, but it's a learning lesson, I guess, that 4th rehab, right?
Yeah. It was definitely a learning point.
Yeah. And we don't have to dive all the way into it, but what are some of the mistakes you made with that first rehab? Did you underestimate how much work it was?
Yeah, definitely. We underestimated a lot of things. We underestimated how much work it's going to be. We underestimated how hard it is to deal with contractors. We didn't even get one of the main things, we didn't even get a dumpster on that project, but we underestimated how much trash can actually come out of a house during a demo. So many things, and it's like real estate is an ongoing learning process. Like every single day you're going to be learning something new. It's not like it's going to stop. Like even till this day, we're still learning new things every single day.
Right. I don't know if you listened to the Bigger Pockets episode today, but the guy said that he says some people got a master degree in real estate investing, in which you don't make money with a degree just because you have it in real estate investing. It's the people that actually buy houses who make the money. You know, so I found a lot of people are steady watching this HGTV, reading, listening to podcasts, but every single, like you said, every day I learn something new about real estate. Every tenant do something. I'm thinking about writing a book called 1,000 Reasons Why I Can't Pay My Rent.
Oh God, yes.
And look, I just started real estate investing. I'm probably halfway through the book. But I mean, every day is a different excuse. You know, you never fully learn everything.
Yep, true.
Okay, so all right, let's take us. What kind of deals are you guys buying there in Texas?
So mainly we look for single family homes. We're sticking to that right now. It's been working really well for us. Our usual is roughly around 13 to 1,500 square foot, single family brick homes. Usually about 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. That's generally what we look for.
Yeah, I'm in Florida right now, and if you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home right now, you're for rent. You're like the most valuable person in the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was just saying, I have an apartment, a duplex, and even at the beginning when you said it was you. I think you said your mom and your brother were living in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
And I'm renting out a 1-bedroom apartment right now, and I'm like, listen, no more than 1 person or 2 at most. And you know how hard it is on people nowadays, because back then the landlord may let 3 or 4 people stand on 1-bedroom apartment because it was different. But would you guys let 3 or 4 people stand on a 1-bedroom apartment if you was the landlord?
No, definitely not. I think we would definitely cut it off. Even right. I mean, like we never came across it, but like we definitely wouldn't, because it would create so much mess in that house. Things would get broken all the time if there's so many people in that small of a house.
Right. But back in the day, that was normal, you see?
Yeah, I bet it was. I mean, like we were living in it, so.
Yeah, and that's what I think like 2020, no, 2021. 2021 is like, life is getting, I don't know about in Texas, but Florida, everybody's moving here. The cost of living is just skyrocketing. So people are, bonding together, just trying to put their coins together so they can survive,
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Florida, Atlanta, and Texas kind of have like a migration coming from all these other states like California and New York, and so we're seeing like a huge rise in population and a huge rise in cost of living.
Right. So the fact that you recognize that, because I'm recognizing the same thing, everybody's moving here. What are your business changes since you're seeing this?
One of the main things is just pricing on deals are going up. The prices that we used to buy at back in 2017, 2018 aren't even there anymore. Like you can't find those kinds of deals anymore. Not only that, but like the competition is so much higher now that back then we would actually have a minute to take a look at the deal before we actually jump into it. Now, if you're not responding to a good deal within 5-10 minutes, it's gone.
Wow, that's tough. That's tough right there.
Yeah,
Especially when you bought houses like you guys did back then. So now it's hard for you to pay that price and be so aggressive. Like,
you have to be you have to be fast. You have to know your numbers, and you have to pay more right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I was gonna say, what would you say somebody trying to buy their first rental property? What are some things they can do to be in the competitive market in order to get the deal? Like, what's some things you guys do to make your offer look better? Because evidently it's tough right now for anybody.
I mean, some things that we do is obviously we have the option to go in and cash. So that's like one of the best ways to look really good to anyone. We also buy off market deals. So we buy from wholesalers. We don't buy MLS deals because in this market, MLS deals don't exist. I mean, there are, but just not in our criteria or price range. Or, because we utilize the BRRRR strategy, which, allows us to buy homes at like a lower, maybe that 60 to 65% of the ARV value. So then we have the ability to go and make it better and capture equity versus buying something at full price, putting a tenant and like being into the deal at 20%. So cash is something that we do to make ourselves look really good. Quick close, because again, if it's cash, we can quick close. We prefer hard money recently, just because then it's not like us having to utilize our cash or anything we have in our savings or any source, any of that kind of stuff. But other than that, I mean,
that's probably the main thing. Like if somebody's about to jump in, they have to get their financing right. Like the money has to be either figured out either through hard money or through their personal cash. But if that's not figured out, you shouldn't be looking at deals, because somebody's going to come in with either cash or their loan and everything ready, and they're going to close a deal in a couple of days, and they're just going to move you out the way.
Right, definitely. Oh,
and other things to like note, for example, is to kind of make yourself maybe have a shoe in is if you start networking with wholesalers in your market, make sure you let them know your exact criteria. So then if they know your exact criteria, sometimes they'll come to you directly and be like, I know this fits your criteria. Does this home work for you? Do you want it? I'm about to blast it in 30 minutes. Does this work for you? So we have a few wholesalers like that know exactly where we buy and what we buy in the price range and what condition. And they may text us before it blasts out. Or if they know it's a deal that's not moving, that they're about to price cut, that they know when it price cuts, it hits our target for purchase price, then they may text us. So like building those relationships with wholesalers, if you go the MLS route and your market allows you to buy homes off the MLS, find investor friendly agents and then let them know again what your criteria is, and then they'll hopefully feed you the right deals.
Okay. And have you bought any properties like directly from sellers?
We've tried. We tried the postcards and stuff. It's just I don't think we realize that we shouldn't be focusing on that. Like our focus should be simply on getting the deals, getting it renovated, getting it rented out. If we started like that's something we do want to dabble into. It's just not the right time right now for us. We just want to grow faster.
Right. And see, and that's why I always tell people, like, everybody's born a different or have a different set of cards. Like, you have to use what you like. I can't use your strategy. You can't use my strategy, because and where I'm at, I tend to how could you say it? Find people know me so I can deal directly with the seller more. You know, it's kind of like if I cut yards and I'm just telling everybody I'm a lawman, I'm cutting yards, and the word just spread and find so you can reach directly to the seller. You know. Yeah. But everybody got to find their own niche. That's what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
Okay. What else? All right. So what are some of the things you do? You got to rent a property, you rehabbed it. Because this is my hardest part. I just don't like this part. The property management with a tenant. What's your process like? Far as you just fixed this unit up. You can put thousands of dollars in it. Now let's find a tenant. Like, what's the first step after the last piece of caulk you put in and you're ready to go?
So we do what's worked for us is right about that. Our sweet spot is 2 weeks before a project is going to end. We list it just to start getting the inquiries coming in, and because you'll get a lot if you hit the market at the right price, we'll get a lot of inquiries. But there's a lot of people like tire kickers, for example, right? So like you'll waste your time and then you finally get a really good chunk of really good people worth coming to tour the house. So what we do is we list it about 2 weeks before. Because Zillow now charges, we do not list on Zillow until the house is basically 100% ready. If I don't already have a lot of other leads, we utilize Buildium, which is our property management software system that we use. And so through Buildium, we list it and it syndicates it to like apartments.com, this new site that I just noticed called Zoomper. I'm getting so many leads. We have a current property up listed and I'm getting so many leads off that. So I don't know if it's like the new Zillow, I'm unsure. It's the first time I've heard about it. We do Facebook. We get a lot of leads from Facebook, but we do get a lot of tire kickers off Facebook. But once you kind of weed through some of that, you'll find some valuable people on all of those platforms. And then again, if we don't get a good chunk of movement from any of those places, then we'll pay to be listed on Zillow. I think it's $9.99 a week, which we've never had to. Anytime we've ever had to list it on Zillow, we've never had to list it for more than a week. So that's like a little bit of the benefit, but again, we prefer to not have to pay for it unless we have to. So once you get it listed, what we do is we actually bulk do showings. It kind of, it's our little secret. It helps, what is it called? What's that word? It
creates buzz.
And then a little bit of, oh my God, that they have like 7 other people about to walk in. Should we fill out the application now? I really like this house. It helps the house, I feel like, move a little bit faster when they see like a long list of people that are coming in the house. It's kind of like an open house showing is what we do. We'll schedule it out in like a 2-hour block where it's like, especially because of COVID right now, we won't try to have everyone at the same time, but we'll do we'll do 15-minute staggers basically. And that's kind of allows us to, usually whenever we do that open house style showing, I don't think I've ever done that and not had applications come in that night or the next day.
Yeah, it creates urgency, right? Because they're seeing that there's so many other people that might be interested in the house, and if they kind of like it, then they'll go ahead and put that application in right away because they don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I felt like, because I did it not like open house today, but I had a couple people come. But do you take an application fee from every single person, even knowing like, say you have 20 people come? Do you take an application fee? Oh, you don't do it from everybody.
So everyone who applies, they'll have to put their card information in. We won't on the back end run their credit card because we won't unless we're having to actually evaluate their application. Then we have hard costs. But other than that, if we had like 20 applicants, for example, we'll start with the first one that came in, we'll screen them. If they pass, then we won't collect on the other 19 people's applications. Yeah. We don't that is, to me, I just don't think that's the right thing to do.
Right. And the reason I'm discussing this because I feel like a lot of investors, when they first get a property, they're so anxious to get it rented out, to get that first last security. So you kind of, I made the same mistake. I kind of tried to hand pick the right person to move in, and it was all bad. You can't eyeball and be like, oh, that's a good tenant. Oh, that's a bad tenant. You can't do that.
Oh, for sure. No. Yes. We screen them pretty, so we recently just posted about it, how we kind of screen. We look at 3 main things. We look for a minimum credit score of 600. We make sure that your combined gross income is 3x the rent. And then we look for no evictions in the last 5 years. That one's a little bit of a gray area because sometimes, and that's the only, we really try not to go in that gray area with evictions, but sometimes there's like bad divorces or some life happens and there's like one particular reason why maybe a judgment was put on someone's name. Other than that, we try to stick very closely to our criteria. There's been times where, we've done the mistake. We were just ready to get the place rented. So we didn't maybe go down the path of correctly screening them because we were just trying to push the application through, that now we're regretting it. So.
Yeah, no, that last whole 5 minutes, anybody who, you looking to move a tenant in or rent a place out, you definitely, that was like 600 credit score, no evictions. What was the third one?
And 3x,
it grows 3 times the rent amount.
Yes, that if you just do them 3 check marks, you can almost buy my house. All right. What's a person like? All right, I don't want to say a person that's in your life, not either one of you guys, but somebody that make this real estate journey that you guys are on happen. Like they are an asset to your business, like a key role player.
I mean, I'll say, okay, you can't say what you said last time, but secretly would say each other. But I think our contractor is probably the biggest player.
Our main contractor for sure, because he gets everything going and he keeps everybody in line and he kind of hits deadlines, doesn't really hit deadlines, but he gets pretty close. And so I think he's one of our main guys that we would give probably most of the credit to for our success.
Because we are busy throughout the day. So he's always on the job site. And now he's done several of our properties, so he can make some decisions, or he knows when I'm about to walk in and he's going to know when I don't like something, and he's going to know when Aamir told him to do something else. So he like knows how we both work. So he knows what he knows he needs to do. So I don't come inside and be like, what happened? Because he made a decision without me.
Right. That's he know your vision. I got a book right here. It's all about that vivid vision. And that's about knowing like your contractor, knowing your vision, because a lot of times we expect people to be in our heads and know our vision, and it's not like that. Okay. So, all right, when you're rehabbing your rental properties, what are some things that you do to make it tenant proof? So, I mean, evidently you got tenant, kids. What are some, like, you must have this in your rental property?
So one of the main things we recently did was we used to from the get-go, we've never put carpet in any of our bedrooms. From the get-go, we would always use laminate throughout the whole house. We recently changed that up because we realized that laminate is not very durable when you have if a water heater breaks or if you have a leak or in the kitchens or whatever, it's not very durable. And after 1 or 2 turnovers, that laminate is going to go pretty bad and you have to change it all out. So we changed all of our floorings to vinyl plank flooring, vinyl click lock plank flooring, which is waterproof, scratch proof, dent proof, fireproof, everything. So I mean, it's a good material to use throughout the house. That's like your main thing. Other than that, like your basic door stops,
Garbage disposals.
Yeah, garbage disposals. What else?
We try to make the house all electric, even though that's not technically tenant proof, but trying to avoid gas in any of the homes it can essentially be tenant proof because of gas leaks and stuff like that.
And it kind of helps the tenant out because they end up having 1 bill rather than 2 bills for so they're only paying their electric. It's not electric, gas, and water that they're trying to keep up with. So it kind of helps them out a little bit too.
Right. Okay. So, all right, let's say, this is kind of off real estate, but say the universe, is a secret. God, he gave you the secret. This is your purpose in life. This is what I want you to achieve before you die. What do you think that secret is for both of you? Like each one.
Oh, that's a tough one.
It's like your overall purpose, like sometimes you just going through the motion to do something, but deep down inside, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
I know one of the things that I maybe my purpose in life is to always be there for our friends and family. So I'm huge on being with family and celebrating wins with family and taking care of family if they're down on their luck. So maybe it's taking care of people is what my little secret weapon is.
I think mine is to I don't know. I would say to just be the strong one, not to show any emotion or anything like that, even if things are bad or anything like that. People tend to just ask me for help or lean on me or whatever, when things go sideways. So I think I'm just there for support or I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it. My brother's like that, Amir. He's like, you could be like, the house on fire. He'd be like, oh, really? The house is on fire.
but people like that, they're already planning ahead of what they wanted to do. If your house was on fire, okay, cool. We need to find a motel to go to. We need to get in the car. We need to pack whatever we can, and let's just go. You gotta start thinking forward. That's just how I've always been. So I guess that's what I'll do.
No, that's great. Okay, and far as in the real estate business, do you handle most of the rehab, and you're handling do you have property management first of all?
No, so we self-manage. So you kind of nailed it. He kind of does the day-to-day management of the contractors and maintenance requests. I kind of handle the designing, the front end of the properties, the layouts and stuff like that. And then I do the leasing and getting all that stuff ready to go. And then I normally am the one who communicates with tenants, but when it's a maintenance issue, it pushes off to him because it kind of aligns with managing issues.
Okay, got it. That's about the norm. Okay. All right. Outside of real estate, I can blank every day. What could you do every single day?
Well, I'm sorry, you cut off. What was that?
Oh, my bad. I said, outside of real estate, if you could, this how the sentence would go. I can blank every day. So fill in the blank. You could do this every day.
Huh.
I can cook every day. If I, failed in real estate, I think I could be a chef.
Oh, okay.
I think our family would love our food. My food. I love cooking. So if I have a really stressful day at work, it usually comes home and I'm making a crazy spread of food for no reason. But
outside of real estate, I can definitely eat her food every day.
That's why. Hey, look, that's why y'all married, right? Oh man. So do you think would you say you like being would you rather be a chef or a real estate investor or?
No, absolutely not. It's just a passion. I just like cooking. I could not ever in my life have to cook for more people than my family and friends.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to make sure we don't need to get a chef show instead of real estate show.
Yeah, I think people would probably prefer me to stay in real estate. But I think everyone enjoys eating my food.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So, the middle class see housing as real estate as this point of view. And I'm going to tell you this point of view. They see it as you buy a house, you put a fence around the back, put a couple dogs in there, go to work, come back home, and you live there. That's the middle class view. And I think that's why the middle class gets stuck there, because it's an asset, but it's not an asset until you sell it, or even if you decide to use the equity. So how can the middle class, go from just using that house as this, just the place you live in, into understanding what real estate can truly bring to people to help increase their family, wealth?
Well, just by owning it, you're already on your path, because along with you're getting your appreciation, you're getting the mortgage that you pay every month, you're getting it paid down. You're getting the tax benefits on it every year because you get to write off the interest and taxes and stuff on it. So I think just by making the very first step about owning the house versus renting an apartment or renting a house, I think that's their very first step to increasing their family wealth or generational wealth, or however you want to see it.
Right.
The very next thing to do is let's just say you lived in that house for 5-7 years, tap a home equity line of credit, because your equity is going to be so high in that house that you could probably tap a home equity line of credit, which is basically like a credit card against your house that you can use. And you can use that money going forward into probably buying a business or buying other real estate or however you want to see fit that can generate you more income.
Yeah. And I tell people all the time, like, you can't just go ask your grandmother, can I get a line of credit on your house without ever doing it before. But most older people, they got, good credit scores. So they got credit cards where you can become a authorized user to help your credit score. So you got grandparents 80 years old. She's not going to use her credit. You become an authorized user on it, and all her credit history will help your credit. Also, we got aunts and uncles who got all this equity in their house. If you show them you know what you're doing, and maybe they'll let you, get a line of credit to get started,
Yeah.
But I don't think people go that far. That's kind of like the middle class. Like, I just want to live in my house. I don't want to, get into all that. But I feel like that's the gap between like leaving middle class and like changing your family life to taking, instead of 1 vacation a year, maybe 5 vacations a year,
Sure. I can see that. Yeah.
Okay. So, if you had to mix up, like, you're a chef, if you was making successful that's the main dish, what ingredients would it be to make people successful in real estate, let's say?
I think he kind of said it in the beginning. It is having your finances in line to be successful in real estate, because you have to have the finance in the beginning to be able to buy the deal. But you also, once you have the deal and you're renovating it or whatever your strategy is, you have to also make sure your finances work afterwards, and you're not like straight pocketing the cash flow. You should, make sure you take out your reserves correctly. So like, I think if you have your books and your finances correct, I think that's your secret recipe for success, in my opinion.
Writing down goals.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then hitting those goals. A lot of people just keep it in their head, and then they actually don't go toward, like, they don't actually put down steps that they need to get to it. Like if this was the end zone, how am I going to get there? I'm going to get there 10 yards at a time, like something like that. Or just hard work. I mean, don't expect to work 8 hours a day and expect to get great results when there's people that are going to outwork you and doing 16 hours a day. They're going to achieve what you're going to achieve in 6 months rather than a full year. So hard work, writing down goals. I think those are 2 key ones. Yeah, no,
that's a common trait everybody on the podcast say right now. I got a new notepad today, and this the first page was the notes for this. But I can't live without a notepad, like, because ever since I stopped working, my brain just have a whole bunch of different things going on. So if I write it down, it make my life easier. So I just read and do it.
Yeah.
So what is your why? Are you guys gonna stop buying properties after 10 more or 5 more?
I think we originally had a goal to get to, and we'd be like, oh, we would be done after this. But I think we fell in love with it so much that now it's just more of a, how big can we go? Like how big of a business can we make this? And then like, can we start dabbling into other facets of real estate? As in, can we start getting into like the lending side, or can we start getting into the insurance side, or can we start getting into the brokerage side, or just renovations for others, or like every kind of facet that you can probably get into real estate. We just want to get it as big as possible.
Right. Okay. And then also, I think for a lot of people come from California. Like I sold a house recently. The people never even came to look at the house. I don't even know where they're from, but it was a turnkey renter. I didn't necessarily, make up these terms and stuff, but basically, I fixed it up, bought it, and I didn't put a tenant in it though. But basically, all these people, investors coming from New York, they just throwing money at Texas, Florida, Tennessee. So you get these properties and get tenants in there, and it's like, here are the keys, you're a landlord. It's for a person to invest in money. I think that's a great idea for people that live in these states where people are coming from other places to move there.
Because it's so cheap for them. Like they probably can't even buy a garage for the prices that we buy houses here for, like it's so dirt cheap for them.
Yeah. I had one guy, cause I'm a realtor also. So he called me, he was like, man, I'm literally driving from New Mexico and I got a briefcase full of cash. I'm looking to buy a house. And he was just driving, I guess, stopping through Florida to look for a place to move to, I'm like,
It's a long drive.
Yeah, I guess he was like, I'm moving, and Florida is cheap, so because you can still buy a house for $100,000. You know, I guess you can't do that in certain places in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Oh yeah, this is what I want to say before we go. The numbers, because people always want to know. Just because you buy 2-3 rental properties doesn't mean you're rich. So he said definitely not. All right. So what type of cash flow are you guys looking for off, like say you buy property for $100,000 and they rent out for $1,000 a month? Is that a deal?
Probably not. Yeah, because if you're just breaking 1%, that might get you just into cash flow territory. Like it'll probably get you after maintenance, capex, vacancy. After you factor all that stuff in, you might be left with maybe $100 a month on that deal, $100, $150 a month on that deal, something like that. You definitely need to be hitting at least one, like, so basically what you just said, 1,000 on $100,000 deal is 1%. You need to be hitting at least 1.2% roughly to be making some decent cash flow numbers. So that would be $1,200 a month on a $100,000 deal.
You see, that's how you know you've been analyzing a lot of deals. He did that like what, 60 seconds? That's the key. Like I have a board and I put, $40,000 houses got to rent for this, $60,000 house got to rent for this, $80,000 house have to rent for this. So I just look at it and match it up. If it's 40,000, I need to rent for this, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Doing it for so long, it's just so easy to do.
Right. All right. So what I was gonna say, yes. So what are like something in your life that you can't live without? Like, so a lot of people say maybe like a maid or something like that. What is something that's necessary for your life to be simple?
Oh, I know mine.
Oh, that's a tough one. Or my laptop. I don't know.
Nah, that's a laptop. If you use it every day, I guess.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll have to change.
I mean, my laptop or him. I don't know.
That's a weird one. I have a infatuation with bubble gum. Like I need bubble gum on a daily basis. I go through like at least like 4 or 5 packs a day.
What? Oh man.
I have like even like right here, like I have a big old gumball machine that I use in my house. Just watch that thing go down and eat gum all day long.
Yeah, that was the first for the New American Dream podcast. Most people be like a maid or like what they say, a cell phone or a cleaning person that come clean the house. I don't know.
We clean our own house.
Yeah.
I mean, we cook our own food. We live an average life over here.
Right. Well, one of the things for 2021 I started trying to do is delegate more. So I found myself trying to do every part of the business. And like we got an Airbnb, and my wife, we had some crazy guests recently. They like literally the police was at the property like I think 2 times like the first week. And I'm like, man, this is just too much. But anyway, when I went over there, finally after somebody came from the hospital, somebody went to jail, I went over there, I looked at it. It was beer cans everywhere, liquor. I'm like, man, I had 2 masks on, I'm like, oh man. So my wife was like, I don't want to clean it up. So I seen a sign on the side of the road say cleaning service. I called it. They were like, yeah, we charge $25 an hour. They went in there. I put a lockbox on the door. When I got home, it was spotless. I'm like, that was the easiest $25 I ever spent. Because like we had to make plans to clean the Airbnb, but they just went in there and cleaned it. I'm like, I gotta start delegating things that I can use my time better use.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we went through that learning phase this year too. We started delegating a lot, and that's the only way to scale. Like we before this year, we were only usually doing like one project at a time, maybe 2 sometimes. But this year, after we started delegating a lot more, now we're taking on 4 or 5 projects at the same exact time.
And you're not flipping any of these properties, you just keep them all as rentals?
Keeping them all as rentals, yeah.
Smart people. You have to be patient to do that because, the money is not like fast money, but in 20 years, we'll be looking like, we should have kept these properties.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even right now when we look back, even our very first rental, I try to tell this to like everybody. If we had sold that property, we would have made, like, let's just say whatever the number was. I don't know. It was like, let's say if it was like $20,000. If we made $20,000, we would have made it one time, right? Back in 2017. Ever since then, that property has probably appreciated almost another 60,000 or so. So in 4 years, it's like, it's basically like by holding it, it's like I flipped it every year because that appreciation kicked in it, like from 2017 to 2020, kicked in almost 60,000 more. So it's like I flipped it like 3 times basically just by holding it.
Dang, you looked at it in a very different, unique way. But yeah, you're right. It's just unrealized money. You can't touch it yet, but one day you will.
Yep, and I didn't get taxed on it.
Yeah.
Right. That's like the second level real estate class. You worried about taxes, you making money now. All right. So, all right, these like the final questions for the New American Dream podcast. It's just rapid questions. First thing to come to your mind. All right. If you could spend a day with like a mentor, who would it be?
Probably Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone.
Cool one.
I received a text the other day from him. I thought he was calling me after watching my podcast or something. I'm like, it's Grant Cardone. And it was he was trying to get me to buy tickets to come to I think the 10X conference in Miami.
Yeah.
But it was like, you got a mess from Grant Cardone. Hold on. But yeah, no, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What about you, Anna?
Mark Cuban, he's a big, he's the one who owns the Dallas Mavs, and he's a billionaire from doing a lot of hard work.
Yeah, I listened to Mark Cuban yesterday, an interview he did on a YouTube channel, and what did he tell you? He told a story about, and this is how you know, like he said if he had to be a billionaire again, if he had to start all over, he couldn't guarantee that. But if he had to say he'd be a millionaire, he would guarantee if he had to start over, he'd be a millionaire again. And one of the things he said, he told the story how he had a raggedy car and he was driving down the road with his friend and they seen a car on the side of the road, like abandoned. This back in the days. So I guess back in the days, people, they didn't want to get repoed. So they parked the car, leave the keys in it with the paperwork. So he seen the car with the keys in it with the paperwork. He got the car, called the bank and asked them if he kept paying the payments on that car, could he just keep it? And it was like, you got to be kind of smart and think of that. That's kind of like real estate, like you finna lose your house. I'll take your payments. You just leave and you don't have a foreclosure on your record, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, he was thinking back. That was a long time ago, but I was just like the mindset to think like nothing's impossible. He needed a new car and, like he got creative with it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. All right. A mindset book that helped change your life.
What is that? I'm reading it right now, but it says like "Girl, Stop Apologizing." It's just a book about owning it and like knowing your shit or knowing your stuff.
No, right.
And like not apologizing.
Okay. I might have to get that for my wife.
It's a good book.
Okay.
Book, I'm not a big reader. So.
I knew you was gonna say that. What about audio book?
I was just listening to one. I was actually just listening to a 50 Cent one. It was Hustle Harder or something like that. I was just like, I'm like about 4 hours in right now.
No, I seen that on YouTube channel. It's a new book, I guess.
Yeah, because I'm in the car all the time driving to job sites, and I'm like, this is when I listen to it. And so like, yeah, I'm about 4 hours into it. It's been pretty good so far. I don't know what it was called. It was Hustle Hard and something. I don't know what it was.
No, I seen that. I didn't listen to it, but now I'm about to check it out. I was like,
it's 8 hours long, so
that's why I didn't click on that thing. But my former, like, I stopped working a year ago. I was a mailman. So that's all. Like, if I was at my old job, I would have been on listening to that book already.
Yeah.
But that's how I learned about real estate. I used to drive around the mail truck delivering mail. And like for 5 years, I was just listening to real estate, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, just everybody. And then all of a sudden, I just got like, I couldn't take it no more. And I just had to get out of the truck.
Yeah, that's all I do all day. While I'm driving around, I keep my AirPods in and just just listen to these audiobooks or just like listen to interviews and stuff all day.
Yeah. I think people take it for granted, but you know, you listening, I was working like 56 hours a week. So the people I was listening to became my associates, my friends. So like Brandon Turner, like, you know, he's smart. Gary V, Grant Cardone. So I was literally competing with them, you know, how they live. And it actually helped, because when you come back to reality, it's like, you know, people like just go to work and go home and eat and just do nothing. And I'm like, no, when I get off, I got to go figure out how to, you know, get more.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay. So after buying all the properties you purchased, what is something maybe you wish you could have did different? I know you don't want to change how you did it, but maybe you would, instead of buying this, you would do this.
I think we would have probably used our contractors more in the beginning, because we would leave a lot of the work for us to do after they were gone. And so I think, and that took so much time, because like we would be sitting there putting up like, I don't know, like towel holders or like the toilet paper holders, or just like cabinet knobs or something, like just like random little things that we would just leave over for us. Yeah, but I think we would just use their time more, because they would probably knock that out in like a day, which took us like weeks to get done before we could list the property.
Okay, that's what I'm going through right now. I know you and spent a lot of money on rehab. So how do you, far as paying your contractor and negotiating, what did you find worked best?
So one of the things that we do when we work with our contractors is we get a labor only price, and that's something that has worked for us. Just so they are only managing the labor costs or the day laborers, and they're not responsible for keeping up with the materials, because sometimes materials start adding up, and then they may cut corners on the materials that are going into the house, but ultimately you want to make sure the best of everything's going in the house. So, and then after doing a few projects, you kind of have a general idea of maybe what things should cost, because you've been watching them. So if you're really active in your first few homes, you at least get a general idea of how long maybe something takes them to do, like how long it takes to do flooring or plumbing or electrical. Then whenever they come back to you with pricing, you have a little bit more background to where the numbers are coming from, and then you'd be like, okay, no, this should actually, can you come down to this price? You're never going to come out and say, I know this takes you 2 days to do, but like, you at least have a general idea of why someone shouldn't be charging you X amount, because you've seen the amount of work that has to go into it.
Yeah, and that's the stage I'm in right now. I'm kind of like around the project, so I know like to put the borders around the floor. I know what it takes, or you know, if you have an idea now, you can't like just rip me off on price, because I know what it takes. I might not can do it as good, but I know it shouldn't take 3 or 4 days to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody, you should, if at the beginning, try to be, if you can, be on site, so you can at least know what it takes to do drywall or whatnot. Then you have a better idea on pricing. Okay. What is your forever state? If you could live in any place in the world, what would you want to live at forever?
I think before I would have said California, but I'm very much Texas now.
Texas, and you're there. Oh man.
No, I don't think
stay here. Yeah.
Yeah, we visited so many places, and I don't think I would go anywhere else. I think Texas is perfect.
I've never been to Texas. I think I'm supposed to be coming out there. I got a cousin stay by what part of Texas is that? She like 40 minutes from the Dallas Cowboy Stadium. But
yeah.
It might be Fort. I'm not sure. But anyway, what is the why Texas? Like, she keeps telling me come out there too. Like, what's the energy like, the vibe?
I think there's so many different like places like and stuff you can do here. Like there's so many, like you can get affordable housing, and you could have so much fun because the entertainment districts are so nice. You can get like, we have somewhat decent sports teams. I would say the Cowboys are pretty decent. I don't know. There's a good amount of things to do here, and the cost of living is decent, and people are nice. I mean, barbecue's good, so that's all I'm going out here.
Like what do your average 3-bedroom, 2-bath rent for? Where are you at?
Our rentals, or just
I'm trying to say like in middle class neighborhood.
I think 3 bedrooms could go anywhere from like $1,000 to maybe like $1,500 in Dallas.
In like mid to
In-
not like, I would not say that's middle class. Probably it'd be
No,
like
that would be less than middle class, right?
be like your blue collar,
Yeah.
like working class neighborhood, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you said the cost of living was low, so I was just trying to figure out, compare it to here. Because here, rentals, man, for like, you can't find a 3-bedroom, 2-bath for $1,200 no more. Not in a good neighborhood. They're more like $1,700, $1,800, you know? And I'm in a small town, but if you go to Fort Lauderdale, Miami, oh man, you at $2,000 now.
Yeah. If you went to like the hubs, like if you went to like downtown Dallas and stuff, you're definitely paying 2,000 or higher. But like on the suburbs or like on the outskirts of downtown, I think you could probably find something for well under 2,000.
Okay. You know, a great book you guys should read. I don't know if you read it. Chip. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Have y'all read that book?
Oh, I love Fixer Upper.
Did you read that book though?
I have one of her books, actually. It's Magnolia Home. I don't know
Yeah, I think that's it. Where they started out at the Firestone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize working, like doing a TV show took so much. Like they were really, and he was a go-getter too, man. That book was crazy. I like that book. Okay, the old American dream would be, you know, you work your jobs and you just work there for 30, 40 years, and then you retire, and then you'll travel to Texas on vacation, even though you live there. What's your version of the new American dream?
Probably not being tied down to a physical location job by the age of 35 and living life how we feel like it.
Yeah, choosing to work when we want to work, choosing to go to vacation whenever we want to go to vacation. So
you plan on eventually leaving your full-time jobs?
I think at some point it's inevitable that life will just, you'll have to make a decision. When you have maybe 100 units, we can't self-manage at 100 units without probably making it our full-time job.
I think when it feels like it's weighing us down, like we're not able to get the other work done, or like, you know, like if we're moving too fast or if people are waiting on us to get stuff done, then I think at that point we'd probably make that decision. Okay.
Sounds good. All right, let the people know where they can find you at if they want to find out more information or reach out.
Yeah, so we're pretty active on Instagram. Our handle is @Rehab Rental. We share we share the platform. He's not a very social guy, so there's a lot of me on there, but we share a lot about our journey, our tips and tricks and findings that we find along the way.
Definitely. Okay. All righty. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for having us.
All righty.